Neighborhood's changing. Favorite donut shop is going to a second or a new location, not necessarily a second location. We'll see how that goes. But I can't wait to check out the new location. And we got a new chocolate place that's vegan chocolate. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. We shall see. We shall see. Well, neighborhood's changing. New places, new stores, and a lot of new updates hitting the town from social media, affiliate marketing, and well, actually multiple platforms. So we're going to get into that, and of course knock out some core questions later on today. You know what? No, not later on today. Let's just get to it. I got the coffee, got the donuts. Let's just make it happen. Let's get it. Cool, what's good, everybody, and welcome to what we're going to do here is we're going to go over some questions, going live, of course. We take care of the questions, and then we bring it back to YouTube, but of course, we go live Q&A sessions, not just the core questions, but any other questions you guys have as members, as Patreons, members, of course, in the Patreon, join that. But we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to check out a few of the topics that were covered in the newsletter. And in that newsletter, that's the newsletter we send out every week, the Ambitious newsletter. It's every week on Substack. Add this to the Substack. We'll have a couple questions that came up from the newsletter last week and this week, because one of those topics popped back up. It's growing pretty fast because of the, not only, well, we get into it. I don't want to like take us off the topic, but normally what we do is just go over the questions. This time we're going to go into the newsletter a little bit more. And in fact, I may start doing the newsletter, if you guys like that, if I get enough feedback from it regarding, if you guys want to see it from a video standpoint, you guys want to go over it live, we could do that too. Because there's a lot of, it's really hard to crunch down like what news we're going to cover in the actual, publication, because there's just so much that goes on. And it's best like trying to figure out what not only would get the most eyes, but also what's going to have the biggest impact, because that's the goal. What's going to have the most impact on the most people? That's usually the topics that I cover. Like, okay, is this going to be something that is a small pool of people that only use this AI tool, or only use this digital marketing tool, or not even talking about this social media platform? Or is this something that more people need to be paying attention to, because this is about to change everything, and it's good to get a heads up on it? So that's kind of what we go back and forth with in the newsletter almost every week. But anywho, I'm a little shiny because it is hot. It is scorching in the Chi. That's just how Chicago works, baby. In the summer, people just don't get it. They don't understand that Chicago it's a hot city in the summer. We have extremes. It's very little, kind of middle ground. It's a lot of extremes going on. As you can see, always diehard Blackhawks fan. Gonna be always and forever, as you saw me walking, getting my donuts, even though I really didn't need a donut. Anywho, great donut spot, by the way. Anywho, let's get to these questions and then go over some of the news. Like I said, 2 things were covered in the newsletter last week, but this week they came back up, and it's very important to understand why. Because if you're a podcaster, if you're a content creator, especially if you're a content creator on YouTube and Spotify, yeah, sorry if I snapped right into the mic. I do that often. First question: how do businesses buy Facebook reviews to boost their reputation and growth? Okay. And this is the kind of stuff, I'm going to be real with y'all. This is the kind of stuff that, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Listen, if you're buying reviews, if you're buying likes, if you're buying shares, if you're buying any of that stuff, that's the worst thing you could do. Here's why, especially when it comes to buying reviews, buying likes, buying shares, anything like that, especially when it comes to those things. The worst thing you're going to do, not even getting banned. This is the thing about it. Not even getting banned from just the platform. No one's going to trust what the heck you talk about. Because now they don't trust what you do. Now, if you're one of the bigger like musicians and artists, hey, just to bust y'all's bubble, listen, although I was never at a height of like working at a major recording studio or anything like that, or record label or distribution service, but I worked with independent artists, and that came up all the time. With people like, hey, we can do this, we can sell this, or we can sell you this, and you can, kind of massage the numbers, if you will, Never massage the numbers. Never. The saddest part is it's if you've ever heard of like a basketball team or a football team or a hockey team, whatever sport, specifically a team sport, they look good on paper, like they're a championship team on paper. That's what it looks like. You're successful on paper. Now, let's say you do book a show. Let's say you book a show. I'm looking at it from the artist perspective. Let's say you book a show, or hey, content creators, you guys want to do, y'all want to go out there and book these shows, or you want to book, these appearances and stuff like that. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, or you want to book a speaking engagement. Okay, book a speaking engagement. Do that. Do that, and they see you have 100,000, 500,000, 1 million followers and likes and subscribers, and they pay you for this event, for the show, and no one shows up. Now look at that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put yourself in that position. Never put yourself in that position. So for asking this question, it's an honest and a fair and a valid question. As you can see, I have not gone to court in a long time. I've been answering questions here and there, but I have a ton sitting there, and I'm sorry about that. But do not put yourself, your brand, your small business, whatever it is, in this position. It will not help your reputation. It's just going to destroy your reputation. If you need outreach and help in getting reviews, this is one thing that we did. Now, this is. Oh, actually, I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you two. Give you two things you should do. Number one, email marketing. Here's why. Not social media. Email marketing. This is why. If the person has taken the time to sign up for your email list, if the person has taken the time to subscribe to you, if the person has taken that time, they're more than likely to take time. Give you not even 5 minutes to write a review. Okay. If they can take 5 minutes, now don't get me wrong, asking for a review takes nothing. Getting a review takes forever. And every business is the same. There's no business that is above this. There's no business that is above this, okay? But you have a better chance of getting a review from a person who subscribed to your newsletter, or at least, just sign up for your email marketing, even if you don't have a regular newsletter. This is why you want a regular newsletter. This is exactly why you should have a regular newsletter, because at least it keeps you in a regular communication. Because have you ever noticed that with social media? People try to, and this is why Substack is blowing up the way it is. People try to use try to use social media to replace email marketing. There were people who really like, oh no, because I'm in more contact. And you know what it is? People treat you like everything else they see on social media. Noise. See, with an email marketing newsletter, what you could do is you could do it once a week, twice a week, but you have more of a scheduled time. Yeah, you could do that with social media. But the idea is, once again, a person has opted in to receive something from you. They've already taken that step to receive something for you. It's, especially here in the U.S. right now, at least, it is very clear cut as day that you have to give an opportunity for a person to unsubscribe. You have to give an opportunity for a person to double opt in. I remember I had a client at one point, we were redoing her Shopify website. She didn't want double opt in. She was like, no, I want double opt in because that's going to infringe on a person's time. And I'm like, no, you want to double opt in. You know why? Because when a person goes, oh, I did sign up for that email newsletter. Now, that's the kind of person you want to say, hey, you know what? If you're liking our service, thank you for helping us out. Or thank you for being a customer. Thank you for coming through our doors can you just give us a review? Not a good review, not a bad review. Can you give us a review? An honest, genuine review where everybody can see it. Facebook, where everybody can see it. Google. You know, I'm trying to say the third place because, and if, for those who don't know what third place is, I can get to that. But that's the first one, email. Second one, I keep snapping. Sorry about that. I speak with my hands. Y'all gonna have to deal with it. You lucky I'm not standing today. If I was standing, it'd be a whole nother thing. Okay. Second one though, the second opportunity, the best place to get those reviews. If you are going to use social media, set up. And Messenger has this built in, and they've had this built in before the AI boom. For those who don't know, AI's been around for like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 decades, really, just being honest with you. But that's a whole nother thing. 6 decades. 6. Messenger. I can't tell you enough. The one thing about Facebook Messenger I've always enjoyed from a marketing standpoint, from a business owner standpoint, is they have a really good native built-in bot. It's a fantastic bot. Honestly, I don't think there's any platform that has a better built-in bot. And it's been I would love to know who developed that, because it's like you did this great work. I wish they had you work on a lot of other stuff for Facebook because that thing is awesome. So use your email marketing, use the bot, but do not go out there and do something stupid and buy reviews and buy likes and buy shares and buy. Don't ever do that. Don't ever. It's so not worth it. Put the time, because here's the thing about it. Once you put the time and the effort into knowing how to get it the legit way, it's easy to replicate. And you know what you do after that, right? Courses, YouTube videos, live chat, mastermind sessions, workshops, whatever you want to do. But get it out the mud. Don't go buying everything. And plus, you might spend a little bit more money because maybe you need somebody to help you with the marketing and how to do the emails and stuff. But it's more than worth it. It's more than worth it. Alrighty then, let's see. Because I know I got quite a few questions in there, and I know your boy's looking a little shiny, so you're going to have to forgive me. This is why, they got the powder and the makeup. I am not an actor or an actress, of course. And I say that because I don't apply the blush and the powder. And your boy is, you know what I'm saying? And in the AC, if it was going, you probably wouldn't be able to hear me very well. So I just okay. Yeah, I could do this for 20 to 30 minutes, I think. Even though I'm like a fool and wearing all black. Go figure. Who owns copyright for AI-generated content? Developer, user, or AI itself? Now, that is really funny. I'm going to tell you why that's really funny. Because if AI owned it itself, then that means AI is in a party, an entity of its own, which technically is not. Technically, I'm going to get why I said technically. Actually, I'm going to jump right to it. Why I said technically? Because technically, a company, an AI company, an LLC, a limited liability corporation, or a partnership, or fully, that is an entity. That is a legal entity, not spiritual, but a legal entity. So, anywho, who owns the generated content, though? Now, we had somebody at the press club. Fantastic author, writer, authority on AI. He's written for Forbes. He's a fantastic writer on Medium. I'll even put a link to I'll put a link to the article. That he wrote on. It kind of touches upon this. It's very good. But he brought up a really good point regarding kind of the same thing. And it's like an artist who's inspired by someone else, right? So I'll give you an example. My favorite comic book artist of all time. Well, one of them. Not my favorite, but one of them. Jim Lee. Now, let's say I drew a picture. I painted a picture or whatever, and it looks similar like Jim Lee, right? Did I steal Jim Lee's work? No, I was inspired by Jim Lee's work, right? Difference. Even if, and there are artists, there are writers, there are people out there who can do carbon copy work. Yet they still did it with their hands, with their brain, They still had to apply that. There's a difference between being inspired. This is my argument to it. There's a difference between being inspired to, I am literally taking your picture, because this is what I'm doing. I'm taking your picture, looking at your picture, studying your picture. Here. Now you made that. See what I just did? I took your picture, looked at it. No, it's yours. A little different, right? And that's how a lot of people think of AI. They think of it as it's taking that person's work, it's pulling it in, it's taking, let me take that person's work and let me put it over there. Let me do that right there. Do you see it like that? See, with AI generated content, that's a tricky one. And my argument has always been this for AI generated content, or against it, for it, however you want to say. I understand the data sets that they had to use, but the fact that you used copyrighted material, although available online, copyrighted material, it still has a level of infringement. But to your question, the user, the AI company, or the AI itself, right? That was the question, right? The AI company. the developer, right, or the AI itself. So the developer of the AI tool, the user who generated, who requested it, or the AI tool itself, who owns that. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be a hard case for anybody to really own it, right? Although, don't get it twisted. You can put the same prompt that I use and get a completely different result because that's how AI works. It's pulling at it based on timing too. Because remember, it's constantly learning. It's constantly evolving. Evolving, right? It's constantly learning. It is doing a form of machine learning, right? A form of machine learning. A form, because remember, it's still programmed. It's not learning on its own. It's programmed. It's not thinking on its own. It's designed to do that. So the prompt you enter right now, and then I enter 5 minutes later, we'll get two different results. The prompt you enter right now and the prompt I enter right now. You know what? I would love to get your guys' idea on this because I was thinking about this. And I was really like wrecking my brain over it. What I'm going to do is going to be same prompt, different AI tool to show the results. I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. Because I've been playing around with different tools and, we've used it for different projects here and there. I mean, you'd be fool not to use it for at least to see what results you can get. But yeah, that's a heck of a question because who owns it? It's coming from different people. Who really owns it? It's a good challenge. I mean, it's an ethical question. It's a legal question. It was a spiritual question, technically, right? Because we're talking about someone's art. But yes, I'm also gonna start doing that because that will prove the case. The best part about this, it won't be a different person. It'll be the same person, same prompt, different AI tool. Because it's funny how you get so many different results, and not enough people talk about that. And also, you know what I'm really start doing? What I really need to start doing, and more people need to talk. If you're a graphic designer, if you're a product designer, if you're designing anything, and I'm serious about that, and you're serious about your art, your creativity. We need to start calling out these people who say these are AI generated images and videos when they're really not. I'm just gonna say I've seen a couple pieces on Instagram recently that I know for a fact that the AI tool used or the tool used wasn't Adobe Firefly. It was Adobe something else. Okay. And it's okay, but that's what I'm saying. That's perfectly fine. In fact, embrace that. Embrace it. That's the whole point. I've literally sat with somebody, wrecking their brain, trying to come up with a generative AI, image. And I mean, they kept refining the prompt, and it was cool because it's art. It's still a form of art. But they spent 20 dang on minutes refining the prompt. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, you could have did this in not even 2 minutes in Photoshop, right? You do know that, right? You really could have did this. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. Because the worst thing about that is, yes, you refine that prompt. And you know what's going to happen? If you don't know how to do consistency, and actually not every tool can give you consistency. Not every tool, don't believe that. Not every tool can do that to where it does not have to be continuously trained and engineered to be consistent. The prompt will have to be changed and re-engineered to get a consistent output. A lot of people don't know that. So, just saying, just putting it out there. We got to get real about this, y'all. We got to get real about this. I'm not going to, not just yet at least. Not just yet at least, but I'm calling that out right now. Y'all look at them Instagrams and you'll see. How do I ensure that a new website idea will continue to be relevant and manageable as more businesses participate? Okay, I get you. I feel we on that one. Okay. You can't. You're trying to predict the future. You're making a product for today. Right? You know what's so funny? This isn't one of the things we're going to cover in a bit from the newsletter recently, but this goes right to the newsletter. Or one of the events that covered in the newsletter. For those who don't know, You got to have a business plan. A business plan is designed for that. That's a question for your business plan. That's a question for your, not just, I mean, everything's going to be based on your analysis, but that's a question that should be in your business plan. Like, okay, once this, I got a good example for you. And it was a website I was looking at recently, and I just love the practice of this platform and platform similar to it, NerdWallet. Now, when NerdWallet first came around, NerdWallet was very not strict, but very straightforward on what the information it covered or the information that it included. And then slowly but surely, every year, not even every year, every quarter almost, but definitely every year, you saw a lot more information being in there. So in other words, it would have, okay, here's financial advice, here's financial tools, here's financial, recommendations, if you will. And then later they would have far more in-depth analysis on stock and building out your portfolio, and credit cards, and building up credit. Then they had a flood of contributing authors came in, or writers came in, who were, financial advisors, who were financial planners, who were bankers, and you saw how it evolved to now I think they even have a ticker on there. Excuse me. I think they have a ticker on there, so you can follow like the trades. I think it's NerdWallet. It could be Motley Fool, but could be another one. But that's my point, is they evolved. That has to be part of your business plan. Right now, what's happening, what's going on in my industry that I need to talk about, or I need to share, or I need to post, I need to, whatever. And then as the business evolves, more importantly, as the environment evolves and changes, then what? Okay. So those are 3 questions. Got those down packed. Like I said, I have a ton on Quora. Usually what I was doing, or for years, what I was doing, just answering on Quora. I did that for 2 years straight. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the questions, Q&As, and put them on Substack. So that way, it matches up with what's going on in the newsletter, because I'm referencing the newsletter, and it makes sense that it goes all in the same place, but also come here to YouTube. Now the live Q&A, that happens on my Patreon. And the reason why we do it on Patreon is because it's a live Q&A. We can get a lot more in depth in some of those questions. There was a lot more longer conversations, but better yet, those are for the patrons who are, supporting the cause of not just building out the newsletter, building out the platform of the podcast, building out the platform of everything we do for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Hey, freelancing, small business ownership is what I've always been about, and that's not slowing down anytime soon. I've seen it make and break communities, really, when you inspire and when you invest in entrepreneurs and small business owners. And freelancers are, more and more of us are having to go into the freelance world. It's funny, before I get into this, I was going to say, in a post a couple of days ago, I decided not to do it, but I'm going to say it here, and I'm going to make a real post, so like a longer post about it. But I feel bad for anybody who's never had to do gig work or freelance work or side hustle work, something like that, because that is more than ever needed now. I love the fact that my mother raised me not to trust jobs. Being real with you. Right? Because there are people who are like, oh, I'm going to give my 30, 40 years. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying, hey, if you find a job and a career you love, go for it. I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. I'm not knocking anybody's business. I'm not wanting people to say, get out of those 9 to 5s. They're hell. You'll never hear that from me. You know why? Because everybody has a different path. And not everybody is ready to be a business owner. Not everybody should be. Not everyone needs to be a business owner. Not everyone needs to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone needs to be a freelancer. But for those who were counting so significantly on, those who were putting all their everything, their livelihood, in the trust of a 40-year job and a pension, it's gone. If you mean to tell me there's people who make $100,000-$200,000 a year, and this is not me exaggerating, this is actually happening, living out of their car because they can't afford a place to live, and that's happening in the U.S. It's like, you got to find a way to get it for yourself and your people. And sometimes that could be a side hustle. Sometimes that could be, I believe in multiple streams of income, especially passive income as best you can. But You gotta find a way to do what's best for you and yours. So, like I said, I put a lot more thought into a more in depth post, but yeah, just wanted to call that out. Like, it's just if you never thought about it before, you better be thinking about it now. Freelance a little bit, side hustle, gig, but remember, you get out of it what you put in. So if you are just looking at, hey man, this is just some money to put away for savings, great. I think that's one of the best moves you could do. Talk about how many Americans are two paychecks away, 3 paychecks away. Okay, put yourself in a position where you're 20 paychecks away. Cause I put myself in a position one time where I was 6 months away, seriously, and I was at one point I was in a position where I was 2 years away. 2 years away. In other words, that I had enough savings to where I didn't have to work if I couldn't work. Thank God I didn't get to that point. But I've been in that position. Hey, full disclosure, I've been in that position multiple times, 6 months, and when it was tough, multiple recessions. Lose your job, hard to find a new one. Company closes, hard to find a new job. It happens. So if you have to side hustle to put yourself in a position where, you know what, I only have 3 months saved up. Let me side gig, let me hustle, let me freelance, let me build up my skills and my knowledge and my experience to where I can put away 6 months, 10, 20, 30 months. Who knows what you may need to do. Or you can put away enough to where it starts off for 6 months and it works for you to be a year, 2 years, things like that. So it's so funny. I mentioned NerdWallet. Go check out NerdWallet. It has a great bunch. They're not paying me for that. Okay. You can support them, but they're not paying me for that. I just want you to know that. I'm not saying that because it's like hate on them. I'm saying that. Let them know, hey, Aaron sent me here, so y'all don't need to pay him. I'm saying they got the money. I know how much that website's worth. They got the money. All right. Let's get into it. So, just a few topics to cover from the newsletter, and then we are going to be out of here because this was an interesting one. Oh, yeah. And the reason why, first off, what a lot of people don't understand is that social media is, I'm not going to blame social media. I'm not going to blame social media. Everyone wants to blame social media. Everyone always wants to blame social media. And you know what? As much as I understand that to an extent, you got to remember, you are your algorithm to an extent. You are your algorithm, okay? There are things that people talk about all the time. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. These people having a fight. I'm like, I don't see that. Why don't I see that? You can't stop everything, but there are those who are in place right now or who are working towards protecting those who they feel are most vulnerable, those who they feel are most maybe even victimized by social media. Brought this up in the Ambitious newsletter last week. And it's only getting bigger. So Australia is about to institute a ban on social media. Okay. And when I say social media, I sound like the people who say AI, right? And it's just all AI, right? They're all different platforms. It's specifically platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, where those under the age of 16 will no longer be able to access it. In other words, they will no longer be able to have an account. Now, last week, it was just Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Although there's been an update. According to good old Reuters, okay, it's now YouTube. Now, like I said, originally put this in saying, hey, in the newsletter for the marketers, for the digital marketers, specifically the content creators and the content marketers, right? You are talking about one of the largest, not users worldwide, consumers on social media content, specifically purchasers from TikTok ads, Facebook ads, of course, Meta, and now YouTube ads. that YouTube AdSense money that you've been getting, guaranteed probably a lot of 16, 17-year-olds in there. Okay? Because they're the ones with the disposable, not just income, but time to do this. Australian Prime Minister. Australia said on Wednesday it will add YouTube to sites covered by its world first ban on social media for teenagers. This is going to change a lot from an advertising and marketing standpoint. The power of Australia is honestly is one of the most underrated marketplaces, if you ask me. And asking me, if you speak to advertisers, if you speak to marketers around the world, they will tell you just how powerful this market is and how important this market is. It was going to happen this year, December 2025, specifically going after social media platforms, as I call out TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Now, we're going to include YouTube. The thing is that I've just brought up about business plans. And this is exactly why, okay, I'm going to turn this off because this is, everybody's getting advertising but me. Okay. This is going to take your strategy into a whole new world. You have to prepare for things like this. This is an external threat. For those who don't know, this is the SWOT analysis. This is an external threat. And this, now, I'm not saying this would have been in your business plan. Australia, although, if you made that business plan last year, and although, if Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, any of the big social media platforms, I really don't see YouTube as social media. I know a lot of people don't see YouTube as social media, but it has that social component. It does have a few, even though it's not a very good social component. It has a social component to it. I mean, Google tried to do Google Plus and that didn't work out. The fact is that if your business is in a volatile, perfect example, a very volatile, very, could be highly regulated industry, AI, crypto, perfect examples of that. You need to be aware of things like this. Now, I'm not saying, once again, that you would have thought about it 3 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe. But last year, this was issued. I put it in the newsletter last week because more and more businesses are starting to talk about this. They're like, wait a minute, that's the holiday season. Yeah. If Amazon wants to advertise to, and they do, 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, well, Amazon Australia gonna have a problem. Where they gonna do it? Now, the crazy part about this is that means ad spend is probably going to, well, not probably, ad spend is going to go up somewhere else. My question is where? And you know what's right around the corner that hasn't been banned yet, hasn't been fully regulated yet, and is already kicking around the idea of running ads? The good old AI search. So don't be shocked. OpenAI, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini. Now, the funny part about Gemini and Microsoft, or I should say Google and Microsoft with Gemini and Copilot, they already have two of the biggest search engines right there. Gemini is owned by Google. You have Google Search. Copilot, owned by Microsoft. Well, I mean, Microsoft, Bing is still Bing. Bing still got enough users. I have one client, they're hilarious whenever we send them talk about their SEO reports and they see how many people access from Bing. They're like, who's using Bing? A lot of people use Bing. Don't be shocked if their ad dollars go up through the roof. But this is huge. That's a big market. For some platforms, that's the third, fourth biggest market. when it comes to profitability from an ad standpoint. Maybe not from users just because of the sheer numbers, but that is a significant number of users that will not be able to access those ads directly. Because remember, the ban is that they cannot have an account. Doesn't mean they can't get on there. So, mama, give me your phone. I know some kids. I know some people who have relationships with their kids like that. I'm just thinking of my mom. And I'm thinking if I was 14, 15, well, maybe not 15, but 14, 13, 12 years old, and I was like, Mama, can I have your phone? To play some games, to get on Instagram? She probably said, boy, go take a walk. And you know when you go walk, go get a job. And when you get that job, you better stay there. While I think about, no, I'm not going to say that. It's a different world now. I can't say that anymore. Right? Okay. All right. So that was an update on something that we had covered before. That was an update, and this is something to really to keep in mind and to keep looking into, because what country is going to come next? That's the one that I keep coming back to. What country will come up next? What country will follow Australia's lead in this one? That's kind of scary. And that's normally what we would share in the newsletter. Share the newsletter every Monday via Substack. The newsletter goes out every Monday. And the core of it is technology, specifically that impacts you as a small business owner, entrepreneur, whether you're working as a digital marketer, whether you're working as a content marketer, for your brand, your business, or other brands and other businesses. We're going to cover social media. We're going to cover AI. We're going to cover specifically marketing tactics or marketing, news update that may impact your marketing tactics. Always, as I mentioned, shared an event. Usually it's an online event, but we'll share more events if we have some online and live events that need to be shared with our community. And it's a completely free newsletter on Substack sent out every morning. Link to subscribe to that Substack is in the description of this episode. It's also around my head, somewhere around here. Normally we would do something like this live, as I mentioned, live Q&A. But the live Q&A with you guys is only over on the Patreon. So, keep that to that spot. But I wanted to, as you can see, I have a lot of questions in core I still have to answer. So instead of posting them up and just, kind of put them on just a Substack, like, let me do it. You know what? Let me answer them here, share them out. They will still go on Substack as well. So we keep everything there, because it's a lot easier to keep us connected and everything. But with that, thank you for taking your time, or thank you for spending time with me as normal, doing this. Well, I mean, we didn't do it Monday because, just got tied up with work and everything. But this usually happen after the newsletter goes out. So make sure you go subscribe to the newsletter on Substack. If you're on Substack, then you'll get the updates of when we're going to go live and when we're going to, jump on, whether it's Patreon or YouTube. And then also sharing out the questions. If you do have questions, there will be a link for you to jump on and get those questions answered. And, once again, if you're already on Substack, subscribe and drop some questions in there, and I'll make sure to take the time to answer those, of course, if they're appropriate, and get to them. And if you have a Substack, or if you are a regular on Substack, I'll shout you out a little quick. Say, hey, what's up? Thank you. Because frankly, that's the whole point of this. I do this. I've done this for small business owners and entrepreneurs for well over 18 years now. Being specifically branding, digital marketing, web design consultant, helping them on building up their websites, logos, full branding packets, things of that nature. And I've done it as a freelancer, done it as a gigger, and have my own agency. So the key was to constantly find ways to share the information. I absorb all this information every day. Like, I'm reading at least 30 articles and writing at least one article. Actually, you know what? Another episode, I might shout out to some of the people who've helped me become a much, much, much better technical writer, as opposed to just a creative writer, a technical writer, because they're also on Substack. And we did a video. Actually, I'm going to put a link to the video about how to grow that Substack via recommendations, because that has helped me a great deal. And once again, this is all my platform has ever been about. It's about sharing and connecting, not only the information that, I consume that helps clients, but the people who aren't my clients, because we're all part of the same community. Entrepreneurs and small business owners are just out here trying to make it. So with that, brother needs to finish up his coffee. It's probably cold as heck right now, because I haven't touched it at all. Normally, on the live on the Patreon, let me tell you right now, I drink my coffee. I drink coffee. I drink water, lemonade, coffee, water, lemonade. Those are my drinks. Coffee, water, lemonade. Next time I might do a cafe con leche. That's right. I like cafe con leche. Cafe Bustelo. Oh, I'm a coffee drinker. We can get into talk. We can talk about coffee. Well, like I said, when we do the Patreon, yeah, we can talk coffee. Talking coffee, we're gonna talk some coffee. Okay. Anywho, you see how I lit up with energy talking coffee? Even more so than business. Anywho, y'all, once again, Aaron Muhammad, and check out the Ambition newsletter. That did not hurt my chest when I did that. pretty big chest. So Aaron Muhammad, check out the Ambitious newsletter every Monday on Substack. I drop all kinds of notes and information on Substack just like this. I found these articles and I'm like, hey, one thing we've just addressed before, another thing has just popped up. I'll be dropping and talking about that a lot on Substack on a regular basis. And also drop your questions after you subscribe. Drop your questions in, and then that way I can make sure I address your questions if they are appropriate on our live stream and also here when we do the recording. So best to you and yours. Peace. And I will see you around. And we can talk coffee. We can talk Substack. We can talk all that stuff. But make sure you check out. It's around me somewhere. It's another video around here somewhere. Check out the video about Substack and get recommendations. And definitely be sure. Link in the description. Sign up for the newsletter. Peace. I think it's over there. No, it's not.